Welcome to our latest video series, our drift car build-off presented by Spec Clutch and Koyorad.
We're finally gonna learn how to do some big smoky drifts. This is pretty exciting, Pete. We've never built two cars at once before.
I know, man, oh man. It's been a long time coming too, right?
It has, yeah, it's been a long wait. Sorry to keep you guys waiting so long. This car, I don't think you guys have ever seen before. This is Pete's E46 M3 Cabriolet. He's doing it dentist style with the drop top. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and we'll give you some more detail on that in a bit. We're gonna start by building the 350Z with one lift. We're gonna build one.
Which is your car, yeah.
My car. We're gonna build one at a time. And we found this car through that video that we published 4 or 5 months ago asking for help finding drift cars. Xander, the owner of this car out of Arizona, emailed us and said, hey guys, I've got this 350Z, I believe it's an 06, that he had been drifting since new. So this car has seen a lot of action, and he was just done with it. He was over it, and he offered it to us at an extremely good price, considering all the mods that are already done to this car. So by the time we shipped it up here, I picked it up in Niagara, it ended up costing us about $5,000. Speaking of which, let's cut to the footage now of us importing the car. Well, we are about to pick up my new drift car, which is kind of exciting. A, because I don't know how to drift and I don't know how to build a drift car, but this one's kind of half built already, Pete. I'm kind of cheating, getting a head start.
All right. We're here at a transport lot. This thing came all the way from Arizona. Looks like it just got dumped in the corner here, DP.
I know, right? Time for a first look before we put this thing on the trailer. And I gotta say, I like what I'm seeing so far.
We should say this is probably the first time this thing has seen any type of salt.
Yeah, it's true.
It is an Arizona car. We're gonna have to clean this thing up. Stat. Oh yeah, it doesn't
window.
have. Yeah,
the window was made by Tony at UMS, I assume.
I think so. Yeah.
He made these for us for having it trailered up here.
Yeah, we're good.
It's pretty sketchy over here, actually.
That's like look at. It's like full drift spec here. That's what, yeah.
Man, if this trunk release worked, I'd throw this in the trunk, but...
Oh, do we lock it already?
Nothing works on this car right now.
Yeah, nothing does work.
We really bought a gutted race car.
We are on and ready to roll out. Now we just have to cross the border. That's the next unknown here.
It's easy. Just show up.
Oh, no. Don't jinx it.
Bring it into Canada.
Don't jinx it.
They'll give us a hug, pat on the butt, and on we go.
Uh-huh. All right.
Yeah.
All right, DP, we are here.
We are here.
At the border.
Yeah.
And wish me luck. I'm going inside.
Yeah.
And if I come out here with thumbs up, then you know we're good. If I come back with a thumbs down, then
with handcuffs on, we know there's problems. Okay.
Yeah. I made it. I got the stamp of approval from Canada Customs, so we are officially in, DP.
I love it.
Yes.
Let's go drifting. Yes. Always a bit of an adventure at the border importing a car. By the way, we got to thank Tony at UMS Tuning, who actually went and picked up the car for us and stored it for at least a month, I think, before we found a shipper who could ship it up here at an affordable price. So we kind of waited till we found the right shipper, but it all worked out in the end. So thank you very much, Tony, and thank you, Xander, for taking such good care of our now drift car. We appreciate it. As you guys saw in the videos, it has a very nice set of Volk RE30 wheels on it, which we're gonna save from the Drift Life. We'll show you the replacement wheels for that shortly. It also has a C-West body kit on it, a legit C-West body kit, but no front bumper because drifting, it got blown up. So Pete jumped on the internet and found this Ings +1 front bumper, which we were told by the seller is a real one, but we soon realized
definitely not,
it's a knockoff. So we'll call it Ings Style. That's the way you knock stuff off. You call it a style. So let's throw it on there. It actually does have good style. And it's made of really strong urethane, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's like this Duraflex bumper.
Yeah, but it is Duraflex.
So it's a little heavy, but it should be good for drifting, right?
Anyway, that'll give you an idea how it's gonna look. And I actually really like the style. It's gonna look pretty mean on there. I don't know how long it'll last with me behind the wheel, but being urethane, Duraflex, whatever, maybe it'll take the drift life better than we think. As you can see, it's got a carbon fiber hood with some nice oxidization. Is that what that's called on the clear coat? No, it's not called. deterioration of the clear coat.
DP, the question here is, are you gonna paint this, or are we gonna run this like full dirty drift?
No, we gotta paint it. I mean, if I was a real drifter, I would just leave it like this, but I want it to look good. So we'll paint the bumper and hood, I think, too, just so it all kind of matches. Make it look fresh until I destroy it. Speaking of destroying things, we are gonna take these Volk Racing RE30s off the car and sell them to fund tire purchases, because frankly, they're too expensive a wheel for me to go destroy drifting. And the money we get for these will go a long way to putting tires on both of these cars. So our plan is to replace them with a very good wheel. Frankly, we're not going to give up much of any performance by going to these Koenig Decograms, which is a flow-formed wheel. So you have many of the benefits of a forged wheel in a more affordable package. These are probably about half the price, if not less than half the price of the RE30s.
Oh wow, and they are nice. This is the first time we're getting a look at them.
Yeah, I've never seen Decograms in person before, and they're really nice. It's a very sort of classic, you could almost say they have sort of a JDM look to them. I really like them a lot. The matte black finish is going to look great on a red car. So specs on these, by the way, are 18 by 9.5 plus 25. And we'll probably wrap them in like a 245 40 R18, something about that size is what we're leaning towards right now as a good size for learning to drift on. So not so wide that we're making too much grip, and frankly a 245 is a lot more affordable than like a 265 or a 275. So I think that's the direction we're going on that, but stay tuned for more on tires in a future episode. Let's move on to the interior, PT, because there's some things to show in there and a lot of things not to show. So let's start with what we do have in the interior, which is a very nice Sparco racing seat. I forget which model this is. I think it's maybe the Pro 2000. And it's got a small Sparco racing steering wheel as well. Cat of harnesses. No idea if they're expired or not. And
not that we care.
Not that we care. And a Sparco harness bar in the back. So it's very race car inside because there is nothing else left. He's removed the door panels, all the carpeting, a lot of wiring for the doors and windows. The windows are gone. The problem we have with that is if we want to register this as a street car, we got to put a lot of this stuff back in, but I think we have a solution for that. And our solution looks like this. This is a wrecked 350Z, and I mean really wrecked. This guy must have gone into a guardrail and kind of rolled it down the guardrail because it's
every
destroyed
corner's
on
been,
every panel
been
pretty
hit.
much. But it's got a full interior, although it's still missing a few little odds and ends. But for the most part, it's got a complete interior with airbags that were deployed. I guess, I don't know what we have to do about that, Pete, as far as making it street legal or not.
We'll figure that out.
We'll figure that out, but we can basically transplant a lot of the interior that we want out of this car into the drift car so that A, we can register it and insure it as a street car, because I'd like to be able to drive it to the track and back, and it just might be fun to drive around a little bit too, frankly. So it'd be nice to make it as street car-ish as we can without making it luxurious. I mean, this is still just going to be the basics.
It's not going to have AC, that's for sure.
It won't have AC. Part of the reason we got such a great deal on this car is because the motor's blown. We actually haven't even tried to start it up, but Xander told us that it has bad rod knock, so we consider it done. As you can see, though, it does have some Samco hoses and an in-gen intake. I think it's also got Stillen headers, and it's got a full catback exhaust on it as well. I think it even has like an upgraded LSD, doesn't it? I think it's like a carbonetic diff, I believe it is. There's a lot of good parts on this car. The engine is not one of them, though, and luckily for us, we paid our friends at Sickie Manufacturing a visit. They specialize in swapping V8s into these cars, which means they have some leftover VQs, which we grabbed while we were down there. We're here, Sickie Manufacturing, time to pick up a VQ for my drift car. Our solution to rod knock is to come to the place where they get rid of these motors and replace them with ones with extra cylinders, usually two more, and push rods, that's right. So this is a VQ out of one of their 350 or G35 customers' cars. We're going to take it home and repurpose it in our drift car. So we're going to let James show off his forklift skills. And by the way, while we're here at Sickie, we're also going to take a tour, so make sure you check out that video. There'll be a link in the top right corner. I think that's over there somewhere. Check that out. All right, James, let's load this sucker up.
All right, let's get it done.
Careful, James. We need this thing to make some power. It's got a lot of skids in its future. And maybe a thrown rod or two. I don't know. We'll find out.
Well, let's hope not.
Then we're coming back here for a V8 swap if that happens.
Yeah, there's a reason we pull these out.
I was going to say. Especially the rev-up motors. They're known to use oil. So we'll see how long this one lasts, but it's a drift car. It's meant to be abused.
There could be a V8 series in our future.
I wouldn't mind that. I'd have no problem with that. Obviously the first big job we got to tackle is swapping that fresh engine in, and while we're in there, we're going to put in a new Koyo-Rad aluminum radiator, as well as an oil cooler and a power steering cooler. Two things that we consider essential for drifting, and I think most drifters would probably agree that you don't want your engine overheating and you don't want your power system overheating while you're ripping skids, because that's going to kill the fun. So we're going to swap those in there, and obviously we're also going to swap in a spec clutch kit that we'll show you when we're installing it. Underneath, this thing is in very good shape, as you expect with an Arizona car, although we do have some surface rust, which we think is from the trip up from Arizona, because it was in the winter and it was exposed to a lot of road salt. It was on an open trailer.
Yep.
So we're thinking that this sort of little bit of surface rust we're seeing here is from that experience. What it does have is front and rear iBox sway bars, which is a nice freebie to have. It's also got Buddy Club coilovers, which I'm going to take off. I've tried Buddy Clubs, and this is not a knock. They're just kind of a typical Japanese or Asian coilover in that they're very stiff. They really don't do well on the sort of rough roads we have here in Canada and the rough racetracks. So we're going to go to a more compliant but still very high performing coilover kit. What else we got under here, Pete? We've got Stillen headers and cat delete pipes all the way back to, I think, the stock resonator. And then we've got a trussed titanium muffler section with a giant hole in it. It's probably seen a lot of severe heat cycles in its drift life. So we're going to replace all of that with stuff that doesn't have huge holes in it. Anyway, that's a tour of the underside of the car.
Whoa, you forgot about the best thing about this car, DP.
That's right,
Come on, the diff.
The diff. I think earlier I said it was a carbonetic. It's not. It's an ATS diff. I think it's a carbon ATS. I assume it's a two-way, since two-way is kind of the typical drifter setup. Had it not had that in there, we probably just would have like welded up a stock diff and done it the grassroots way. But when you get an ATS two-way carbon diff in your drift car, you leave it in there. So we'll see how well that works. I think that completes our tour of my 350Z. I am rather pumped to get started on it. But before we do that, let's give you a quick tour of Pete's car. This is obviously an E46 M3 Cabriolet in several shades of Phoenix yellow.
No, the coolest color ever. Come on. That's like perfect for a drift car.
It is kind of perfect for a drift car, I agree. It's just obnoxious enough to be like cool for drift dudes. We'll put a roll bar in it because we don't want Pete dying. And other than that, this was the least expensive M3, E46 M3 that Pete could find. In fact, originally we were planning for this to be an E36 M3, but they were too expensive. We couldn't find one for less than 10 grand. When we found this one for about half that, Pete jumped on it. So suffice it to say, she's a bit of a fixer-upper, including missing half the grille there. Anyway, we'll give you a detailed look at this car shortly. And the basic idea here is to build them both and to figure out which one we think is the better drift car and which one you think is the better drift car. So we're going to take these out to the track, go drifting together, do a comparison, and we'll decide which one we like better. We'll run a poll. Maybe we'll do some kind of a live stream with you guys where you can vote on which one you like better. And I think we're also going to have our buddy Riley Sexsmith, pro drifter over at NV Auto, take them both for a rip too, and he can tell us which one he thinks is the better drift car. He's probably the most qualified of all of us, you guys included. So at the end, we'll have 3 perspectives on which one's best, and then, I don't know, we'll set the losing car on fire, we'll auction it off, we'll do something cool with the losing car, and something even cooler maybe with the winning car.
Probably just sell it.
Probably sell the loser and keep building the winner, something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate all the support. If you want to support us a little more, we have a Patreon page that you can go and visit and donate a few bucks in exchange for stickers or other kinds of bonuses. There's even this new sponsored button on YouTube you could try out if you're curious.
It's actually called the join button now. They changed it, yes.
Ooh, join button. Feel free to join us on YouTube with the join button. Or you can go to speedacademy.shop, get yourself a hat, a t-shirt, or even some Go Fast parts.
And there we are.
Woo. Back home.
The Z is home. It's new home.
First taste of a Canadian bath. Gotta love it. I think it's pretty funny that it says